Hi everyone, and welcome to Sports Watch. If you like the content, please press the bell icon for further notifications and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. India have bounced back magnificently in the second test versus England at Birmingham. After losing the first test, where they had been ahead for most of the time, it was a shot in the foot for Team India and they needed to do something extraordinary to come back into the series. Well, they have set the first step correct with a first innings total of 587 runs. Young captain Shubhman Gill scored his second 100 of the series, and this time he converted it into a huge total, scoring 269 runs. It is the biggest total or the biggest single individual score that an Indian batsman has scored in England in the rich history of Indian cricket. Shubman Gill is coming into his own of late. Sometimes captaincy does wonders for a player, and looks like Gill is going in the right direction. He has always been touted as the next big thing in Indian cricket after Virat Kohli. Somehow, his performances in the longest format has left things to be desired. But of late, he has made some changes in his batting, and with the responsibility thrusted upon his shoulders, it's finally coming to fruition. Ben Stokes once again put India into bat, and things were really good up till India lost some crucial wickets right in the end when Jadeja and Gill put on that partnership of 100 runs and closed day one at 310 for 5. Still, India needed at least another 150 runs to find themselves in the game because it was a good pitch and England do score very fast. And the captain Shubman Gill took it upon himself to lead from the front. A spectacular double century, that too in English conditions, place where Indian batsmen have often found it very difficult. A very difficult place for subcontinental players to tour. He was ably supported by Ravindra Jadeja, who has fond memories of this ground. The last time India played here, Jadeja scored 100, and he was looking set for a big 100 last night as well until he got a steep bouncer from Josh Tongue and he got caught by Jamie Smith, but not before he had scored an impressive 89. Now, the first test when India lost the game was because of two spectacular collapses. In the first innings, they lost 7 for 41, and in the second, they lost 6 wickets for not so many. So, they essentially lost 13 wickets for 70 odd runs, and that cost them the test match. So, what they did different this time around was introduce Washington Sundar as an all rounder in place of Shardul Thakur. And any day of the week, Washington Sundar is a far better, reliable player than Shardul. And once again, he partnered Shubman Gill spectacularly as the pair put on a 100-run partnership and edged India across the 500-run mark. The more India batted, the most difficult it was going to be for England. The tired legs, the drooping shoulders were showing. And finally, when India had the ball in their hand, England looked frazzled. Ben Duckett, who scored the great 147 runs and won them the first test match in the fourth innings, was out to a duck. Once again, a spectacular catch by Shubman Gill of Akash Chopra. And of the very next delivery, Ollie Pope, another centurion from the first test, edged one to KL Rahul. Akashdeep was on a hat trick. And it's a surprising thing that the Indian team management had left him out in the first test in favor of Prashid Krishna. Some of the selections in this entire test series have been rather baffling. Akashdeep has bowled very well in Australia and in the domestic season in India. So why leave him out in favor of Prashid Krishna, who is an absolute disaster for the team? He lacks any kind of impetus into that bowling attack. Not only does he know how to control runs, but he has no desire to pick any wickets. He can't hold one end up. Even last night, when Akash picked 2 wickets and Siraj also picked up the important wicket of the opener, then it was up to Prasidh Krishna to be the enforcer. But he comes waddling into the crease and he gives away a 4 of his first delivery and lets go of the pressure. With Harry Brook and Joe Root in the crease, India would be looking to break this all important partnership. They already have a very important foot in the door. And if they lose or are able to draw this from this position, it would be a huge disappointment for them. Anything less than a victory would be disappointing for Team India. In both these test matches, India have had the upper hand of England for most of the sessions. But a few silly mistakes and errors have cost them the game the first time around. This time, all they need to do is to take their catches and bowl under pressure for longer periods of time. Shubhman Gill is a young captain, and in the absence of Jasprit Bumrah, all the other bowlers need to come into the fore and deliver a knockout performance. India are placed beautifully in this test match, and if they can get a substantial lead in the first innings, England would be in some serious trouble. But the pitch at Birmingham is still very good for batters. There are no demons in that pitch. It's an unusually flat wicket given the English conditions, not much happening for these seamers, though the Indian seamers extracted much more swing from that pitch than the English seamers did. All eyes would be on the Indian spinners, Ravindra Jadeja and Washington Sundar. Already 2 days have passed and there haven't been much turn on that pitch either. But it's bound to disintegrate at some point of time, and both Jadeja and Sundar need to bowl beautifully in order for India to have the upper hand. This is a very important match for India. Another loss would practically mean India are out of the series. But this is a perfect chance for them to bounce back. And if they can do so in the absence of Jasprit Bumrah, it will be a huge morale booster for Team India. And with Bumrah going to play the 2 of the remaining 3 test matches, India's chances of producing a good result would increase in the next couple of innings. So the next 2 days are very important for Team India. Anything less than a victory would be disappointing. Shubhman Gill has set the template and it's now time for the bowlers to respond. Let me know in the comment section what you feel. And if you like the content, please like, share and subscribe to the channel.